Hi everyone, welcome back for another whiskey review. Well, hopefully you've landed on this video after watching the first video in this series, which is the discovery of this Advent calendar, which I was gifted very graciously all the way back in 2019. And I guess 5-6 years later, I have finally found some time to sit down and do the Advent kind of countdown to Christmas properly, because luckily there's 24 drams in there, and today being 2nd of December, I've got all of this really good stuff lined up. Now, hopefully you saw my first review, which was the Balvenie 21-year-old, and what a banger to start on, you know. Sample out of a $600-700 bottle. And luck would have it, number 2 is also another banger, and actually something I've drunk a lot of back in the day, which is the Glenfiddich 21-year-old Gran Reserva. Now, reason why I've drunk a lot of it back in the day is I hosted a Glenfiddich tasting many moons ago in New Zealand, and luckily, to his credit, the brand ambassador gave me nearly a full open bottle of it to take home, and I've spent a lot of time with that particular bottle. Currently, it still has probably about 150-200 mils left in it, and it's sitting in my parents' place with a lot of my other open bottles, because in our new house, I just keep a small number of bottles. But back to this little mini, you know, if it's one of my first videos you're watching of reviewing an Advent calendar or talking about drinks by dram samples, this thing, Vaxia, bloody good. Really good concept. And I really admire and love the fact they do this, because, you know, this particular sample's been sitting around for 6 years now, and all of my whiskey is safe and fresh because of the Vax seal. Now, let's see what this particular dram is like on the nose. The only thing is, right now sitting here, I cannot remember if I've already reviewed this whiskey, and I'll probably have to go look that up after I finish recording this review. But maybe I have, maybe this is a second look, but let's see. Now, Glenfiddich, I mean, if you're watching this review, you obviously have an interest in single malt whiskey, Scotch whiskey in particular, and there's obviously 100% chance you've tried either a Glenfiddich or heard of Glenfiddich. It is, I guess, the home of single malt Scotch whiskey. On my trip to Scotland, it was the distillery that I looked forward to visiting the most, because at that point in 2018, it's Glenfiddich, that's what I had kind of discovered the most of, closely followed by the Glenlivet as well, and a little bit of Glenfarclas. But it's a Glenfiddich, you know, the 12-year Glenfiddich that we tried at a function, and my dad gave me a sample, you know, and just opened up the world to what the joy of single malt Scotch whiskey can be. And this one in particular is finished in rum cask. So spent his time in, I'm assuming it's bourbon. They don't say very particularly on the website, but the last 4 months I spent in ex-rum cask from the Caribbean, which, well, let's hope brings it a lot of tropical fruit character. That's what I'm hoping to get, because I have been drinking a lot of rum this year and making cocktails. So let's see what's it like on the nose. Well, here's the color, by the way. And I'll say this, right? I don't make these things. I just talk about whiskey. Disappointingly, at 40% ABV. You know, I mean, paying probably 350 New Zealand dollars, closer to $400, 40% ABV. Let's see, maybe. And if you saw the Balvenie review that I did just before this one, you know, I was left a bit disappointed at the end, because there was no finish, you know, or the finish was too small to medium. But let's see, maybe this will deliver. And I've enjoyed it in the past, so I have high hopes. Oh, nice. Again, really rich sweetness on the nose. Maybe just a hint of spice. There's like a distinct dry fruit note on the nose. Really good. There's something just very charming about a long age whiskey, and you can just sit there and nose it for a long time, because as it speeds time in your glass, as you give it a little swirl, it slowly unlocks more and more aroma. I can't quite put my finger on it, but yeah, there's a distinct dry fruit character on the nose. There's a bit of honey in there. Gentle honey. I found gentle spice before. And just overall, there's like a ripe fruit character. Again, I can't quite put my finger on what the fruit type might be, but just like a ripe fruit character, like a rich sweetness. Oh, really good. Well, let's see what's it like on the palate. Sweet. The richness is rewarding. Oh, this is so good. There's that honey sweetness with some gentle spice, like almost like a gingerbread. I don't know. Yeah, I've said it, but not quite a gingerbread, but there's just like a slight spiciness. There's that sweetness. Can't quite put my... I need to go back and look for what that was in particular. Yeah. It's sitting somewhere between that kind of ginger slice and something really rich and sweet honey. Very, very rewarding. And unlike the Balvenie, the flavors with this one is kind of lifting up a little bit. Like the honey sweetness is getting a bit richer. And wow, really, really pleasant sweetness. Really, really pleasant sweetness just lingering. Nice, I like this. It has brought back a lot of happy memories of trying it in the past. Really, really interesting dram. Now look, 350 New Zealand dollars. I don't know whatever that would be in pounds and US dollars overseas. It's a lot of money, but it is an easy step up. You know, I mean, hopefully like me, you've drunk a lot of Glenfiddich 12, 15, and 18 over the years. And kind of like the next natural step is this one here. Or they also do the 23-year-old Gran Cru, which we get and sell a lot of in New Zealand. Very nice whiskey again. I've tried a lot of it in the past. But it's a natural step up and 100% worth the money. Whereas, you know, if I think back to the Balvenie, which is another $200-300 on top, that seems like too far a step, especially for whiskey that finish was average at best. Great flavors up front, average. But this one, 100%, definitely worth buying a bottle, trying it once, and maybe adding it to your rotation, you know, of interesting, luxurious drams. Well, the calendar is delivering absolutely spot on so far. You know, we've got the Balvenie 21, now we've got the Glenfiddich 21, and I can't wait to review the whiskey number 3 that's going to come out of this cut. Well, if you're liking the content, please like, share, and subscribe. Otherwise, I'll see you in the very near future with another whiskey review. See you later. Bye-bye.